McHugh backs off, Rosati backs off, Bevan stays. Yes, Gary Bevan climbing out of the car. Yes, McHugh has lost an axle. McHugh has lost an axle, you notice. He's going infield, and that right-hand rear wheel, the outside, offside rear wheel is hanging out there. And also you'll see on the near side that half the panel of the car is hanging out there too, as Paul McHugh was really sandwiched in among some of the big ones there in the corner. As a matter of fact, from our position here, Ross, it was almost impossible to see him.
Yes, Rod, he jammed on the brakes there. I think initially it might have been John Nesbitt and Gary Bevan. Well, whilst they didn't touch, they were the ones that had...
Goes to the rear of the field. So Brian Burrell in 1, Graham Lilford in 2, that's Adrian Anderson in 3, and then Gordon Cox going along well in the Alan Craig Datsun there in 4. Inside of him is Hibbert in 96. Don McEwen should be at the rear of the field. Then we've got Peter Unwin and Tommy Rosati. And how many did you say was left, Ross? Only 8 of the original 21 cars are left. Brian Burrell again gets round the corner first. Adrian Anderson tucks away inside Graham Lilford, and he's looking for Burrell now. Now Anderson could be the danger here. He got one hell of a big push early in the piece here, but he's come out of it in the true professional manner that you would expect from a champion, and that's Adrian Anderson sitting in second place to Brian Burrell, followed by Graham Lilford. Then we've got Gordon Cox from Don McEwen, Peter Unwin, second last is Hibbert, and last of all is Rosati. And he just might win it by default if they keep going at this rate. But it's Brian Burrell hanging on nicely there. Anderson hasn't appeared to have gained any ground on him at all. Now let's have a look up the straightaway. Yes, Anderson does gain a little on the straightaway, but Burrell kicks away in the corners. Oh, and he lost it, I thought, there for a moment, Burrell. Anderson gaining on him in the straightaways, you'll notice, but Burrell skips away in the corner again. Burrell, Anderson from Lilford, followed then by Gordon Cox, Don McEwen, Peter Unwin. There's Rosati, got up in underneath Hibbert, and it's Hibbert that brings up the rear of the field. But it's Brian Burrell out front, catching the breeze nicely there. Not disturbed by anyone, but he's going a little wild at the moment. There are 32 laps to run, or 31 and a half. And Burrell not making a good fist of this corner. Now he needs to tuck it in a lot tighter than that. See that? He skipped away out there again. And that enabled Adrian Anderson to get to him, but he's forcing Anderson too to do some thinking there as he goes into the corner. And it's Burrell still the leader from Anderson, followed by Lilford. Then we've got Cox behind him as McEwen, Peter Unwin. Then we've got Rosati. Oh, and Anderson almost had Burrell there as they came into the corner. There's 30 laps to go from here.
Well, it's the battle of the Mini and the two Tiranas at the moment. As they head down Main Street, Brian Burrell coming under a great deal of pressure from Adrian Anderson, and Graham Lilford showing a little bit of experience here too. Lilford, he's hanging off and allowing Burrell and Anderson to pick away at each other, and he'll tidy up the scraps if there are any. Brian Burrell, Adrian Anderson working away busily at Burrell's boot lid. But it's Burrell and Anderson. Burrell leading in the Mini number 18, just managing to keep the little silver Mini in front. Here's Anderson's chance on the inside. It opened up there. He moved Burrell over and said, well, that's the mistake you've made, Brian, my lad. And he's taken him. Adrian Anderson moving through with 27 laps to go and wresting the lead away from the silver Mini of Brian Burrell. Burrell won't give in. He'll keep niggling away at Anderson. But the pressure will come now from Graham Lilford in second place. Back in fourth place at the moment is Gordon Cox, and then comes Don McEwen. Tom Rosati is boxing on there, and then Gordon Cox, Peter Unwin, and Dave Hibbert, the only other cars left running. Adrian Anderson showing away and starting to open up a break now on Burrell. That's a tidy enough break to relieve the pressure a little bit, but there's certainly no relief of pressure for Burrell and Lilford, as Lilford keeps pegging away now on the boot lid of Brian Burrell. 24 laps to go in the Coca-Cola 1000 1979, and it's Adrian Anderson, a former winner of the Coca-Cola Classic, and he looks comfortably in control at the moment. Anderson moving past Peter Unwin, putting a lap between him and Unwin. Brian Burrell is in second place at the moment, hotly pressured by Graham Lilford. The major interest at the moment behind our race leader is the battle between Brian Burrell and Graham Lilford. And if we can switch further back in the field, we can also see an interesting battle between the two supercars of Don McEwen and Tom Rosati, with Rosati now starting to get the feel of the Motordrome circuit and racing a lot better. Adrian Anderson opening up a break now of some 50 metres on Brian Burrell. Graham Lilford in third place. Right back in the field we go then to Gordon Cox, then Don McEwen and Tom Rosati as they come across the line. Anderson has 19 laps to go.
Adrian Anderson of Uralla, the lead car, going past the wins or lose timer now. In second spot, the little silver mini of the pit crew sponsorship, driven by Brian Burrell, and then the Street and Strip Tirana, driven by Graham Lilford. A long way back then to the Alan Craig Datsun of Gordon Cox. Then the American Tommy Rosati, who's really started to kick away now from the Hannell Bricks car, driven by Don McEwen. And then young Hibbert doing a good job out there too, and he's one of the B-grade drivers who has put up a very, very good performance. The lead car, Adrian Anderson. There's Hibbert moving over now, and that's good driving by Hibbert. He's allowing the faster car through on the inside. Adrian Anderson coming round turn one. Looking now to lap Don McEwen. Second place held down by Brian Burrell in 18. Then the Street and Strip Tirana of Graham Lilford. A long way back then to the white Datsun of Gordon Cox, followed by Rosati. Rosati goes around Cox there and gets up to fourth spot. There's Tommy Rosati, the American, starting to get the feel. The track is hardening up, and this is the kind of surface that he likes. And he's starting to motivate. But the lead car is Adrian Anderson, and he'll need to motivate too, because the Uralla driver, former New South Wales title holder, is really doing it in classic style in this classic event, the Coca-Cola 1000. 14 laps to run there. This will be 13 to run for Adrian Anderson. Round the corner he comes. There he goes into the 13th lap. Second place held down by the pit crew mini, driven by Brian Burrell. Then the Street and Strip Tirana, driven by Graham Lilford. They're 1, 2 and 3 at the moment. The fourth car is the red car number 23, driven by Tommy Rosati. Then the Alan Craig Datsun, and it's about to be lapped by Adrian Anderson. And there's Don McEwen, who has been lapped in the Hannell Bricks car number 118. 12 laps to run. He's coming into 11 now as he comes to the judge in this most exciting classic, the Coca-Cola event. There's Adrian Anderson lapping Gordon Cox now into lap 11. Second place held down by Brian Burrell. Then Graham Lilford, not making any ground at all on Burrell here. But the driver that has made ground is the United States star, Tommy Rosati, and look at him start to throw it around now. 10 laps to run for Anderson.
Our race leader is coming down now behind the tail of the American driver. That's Adrian Anderson in the A9X Tirana number 6. He's really cleared away now from Burrell and Lilford. Those two are still fighting it out for second and third. with Burrell looking for an inside on McEwen to get a lap underneath him. Here's Adrian Anderson moving up to Rosati now. And Rosati is about to be lapped by Adrian Anderson as they go down the back straightaway. The Americans holding a tidy line. And Adrian Anderson, I think, will have to take an outside pass on him. There's the American moving down low. Anderson moves round the outside. And Brian Burrell now being worried a little by Don McEwen. And Graham Wilford's getting that little bit closer to him. There's only 7 laps to go. Burrell being worried by McEwen, who is continuing on with the car race, but he's getting the hold your line flag now. And Graham Wilford's slowing. Wilford's slowing, and this could give Rosati a chance for 3rd spot if there's enough laps left. Wilford's slow, he's gone. Wilford's blown, and that puts Rosati in 3rd. Wilford out with a blown engine on lap 5.
Bad luck indeed for the street and strip Tirana of Graham Wilford, but that gives you some idea of the enormous pressure they're under. There are 4 laps to run for Adrian Anderson of Uralla, and almost 1 lap behind there in 3rd place is Rosati. Here's the 2nd car, Brian Burrell. He's backed off McEwen now. I think he knows that Wilford is gone, and he's not interested in what Donnie McEwen's trying to do in front of him there now. He's back right off McEwen. He knows he's got 2nd place sewn up good and proper. Adrian Anderson leading away. Burrell half a lap or more in front of Rosati, who is in 3rd place. Then we've got Gordon Cox lying 4th from Don McEwen, who is a lap behind. He's got to get a lap on Cox, remember. He stood in the track for 1 lap. But it's Anderson with 2 laps to go, leading away now, a lap in front of Rosati in 3rd place. The 2nd car coming here now is Brian Burrell in 18. The 3rd car is Gordon Cox, who is in front of him actually. Then we've got Peter Unwin, and behind him comes, let's have a look, Hibbert, and then McEwen, who is that 1 lap behind. But it's Adrian Anderson into the final lap. He goes past the street and strip, at least the wins or lose timer, and into turn 4 comes the Uralla driver, and Adrian Anderson with 1 lap to go looks like taking out the 1979 Coca-Cola Classic very, very comfortably. Brian Burrell sitting there quietly now has backed off McEwen, and McEwen having a tussle here, but he's a lap behind. It's Gordon Cox in 4th place at the moment. And here's the checkered flag, Adrian Anderson of Uralla. Anderson of Uralla first. 2nd place will go to the Mini of Brian Burrell. 2nd place to Burrell in car 18. A tremendous drive by Bugs Burrell. 3rd place, I feel sure, will go to Gordon Cox, at least Rossetti, the United States driver, in 23. Then would come Gordon Cox. Behind him would be Peter Unwin, then Hibbert, and Don McEwen, who is 1 lap behind. But the winner, a very worthy winner too. You remember in the early stages of the race, he really got into no end of pressure there. And Adrian Anderson of Uralla, a very, very worthy winner indeed of the 1979 Coca-Cola Classic. The Pit Crew Mini driven by Brian Bugs Burrell, a tremendous performance indeed to match it with the much bigger and therefore more powerful cars into 2nd place. 3rd place would go to the United States visitor Tommy Rosati, and I'm certain that Gordon Cox